Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Record Club. I'm here with Rocco. You see me and Rocco on the set together. Doesn't probably shock you. We've done this movie club for 1,000 episodes, but this is the first time Rocco's been on Record Club.
Yeah.
So, Rocco,
I've never been on here before.
He told me before we went live, he's like, I'm so nervous, Shawn.
Yeah.
I just don't know what the fans going to think of me.
Petrified.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said, it's weird being on the set, is what he said.
Yeah.
But thank you for being on, Rocco.
No problem.
This is an album that I think we both listened to a billion times.
Uh-huh.
When did you first find this album?
In 2001, Weezer started popping off because they put out their Green album.
Yeah.
Which had a big single, Hash Pipe, that was all over MTV at the time. I was in high school seeing that. And I was like, these guys seem pretty catchy. Download some of their stuff. I didn't know they had a whole history. So I'm like, Buddy Holly? This was a big single they used to have? Buddy Holly. What was that? Oh, I remember a band doing, kind of around the time Forrest Gump came out. I remember a band doing an album, and the music video was kind of like they inserted themselves into a episode of Happy Days. So it was like, okay, that was kind of fun. This is the same band? Oh, okay. And then that just led me down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Of finding out, oh, this band had a huge presence in the 90s, then kind of went away, and this album is a big resurgence. I didn't know there was a whole legacy behind them, a whole like lore kind of, that they did the second album that was so reviled that the lead singer went into hiding and lived under a bridge in a house with blacked out windows, and there was like a whole lore.
Yeah,
I was like, what is this Weezer lore? And finding out that the Green album was mirroring, they had originally put out a Blue album. It was honestly the perfect storm of stuff that caught my interest.
Right.
So I heard the Green album first, and that made me go back and check out the Blue album.
Now, for me, I had heard, I think it was Buddy Holly that I heard first, and I was younger. This is maybe one of the first CDs I ever bought. It's in the top 5 for sure, but I barely listened to it because I loaned it to a friend and then never saw that friend again, and my CD was gone forever.
Oh.
And back then, CDs were $25, and I was younger. I was definitely like 14, 15, and it was like, well, I'm not getting that again.
I didn't own an actual copy of this until they did a Weezer deluxe edition. I want to say in like 2004 or something.
I think it was.
It was the anniversary of the album. When did this come out? 93?
94. So the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah. 10th anniversary. That's what it was. And they did a deluxe version with a second disc with demos and things like that. And they remastered the album. That was the first time I actually owned it.
So I barely listened to the first one, but it wasn't like I didn't love it enough for it when my friend never get back to me. I was like, okay, whatever. And I didn't buy it again. I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I never listened to Pinkerton, and same thing with Hash Pipe. That song came out. It was on TV with the sumo wrestlers, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, it's that fucking band. And then same thing, I got back into it, and then I went to Blue album, went to Pinkerton. Now, a lot of times people have the debate, which one's better, Blue album or Pinkerton? Yeah. That's kind of the question.
Yes.
Where do you fall on that?
I loved both. If you asked me then when these came out, or not when these came out, when I discovered them, I'm saying from the 2000s to 2010, 20 whatever, 100% Pinkerton was my favorite because that was just them going all out. Like, it was so outside the box compared to this album. This album is like the ultimate, like, driving down the California coast album, and it hits peaks, it hits valleys, you've got the ballady song, but it's all that very, like, I don't know, like, even when it's about serious stuff, it leaves you with a good feeling. I feel like, there's heavy themes, there's dark moments in the Blue album, but it's all dealt with. Pinkerton is, I'm going fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What do I do about this? I don't know what to do. I fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the energy was so raw and And it's a very catchy album. Both these albums are catchy. So, but Pinkerton hit a level of raw that I had never heard before. I loved it. Now in 2023, sometimes I put that album on. Pinkerton is still good.
Yeah.
But some of it's a little cringy.
I agree.
Whereas Blue has aged like fine wine.
I agree. I think Blue is always my favorite. But I definitely was like really close. Couldn't decide, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think the more I listen to Blue, and you look at the track list, and it's like, these are all fucking bangers.
Yeah, they're all hits.
They're all good. And like some songs maybe haven't, like the ideas of them haven't aged as well.
Yeah.
But the song is catchy nonetheless. Like they're all very catchy.
Yeah.
I was telling, so last week when Jenny picked this record, I listen to this at least once a week. My girls love the Blue album. Mm-hmm. Lennon is learning how to drum the sweater song. Like it is like becoming like it's a constant in my house.
Yeah.
I fucking love this album. But I was, I knew the album back to front. Like I know everything about it, but I didn't know much about like the history behind it, or like even like I knew Rivers was kind of weird, but I didn't really know like. He came to LA. I don't know if you know this at all, but he came to LA in a hair metal band in the 80s.
Yeah, like
Avant Garde.
Yeah.
And as a guitarist, not even a singer. And then later on, like that didn't really go anywhere. Then he joined a band called, I think it was called Fuzz. And he was like the backup vocals, guitar again. But he always had this like huge hair.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't going anywhere. And then he got a job at Tower Records, from what I've heard. And once he heard the song Sliver by Nirvana, he said everything changed for him. He was like, I want to do this. Like, I don't need to do the hair metal big stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Like, these guys don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. I guess he said he was like sorting like CDs, like going crazy, like listening to that song. Like, this is it for me. So then, what was I going to say? So he then saw the one of the music videos for what I think maybe "Come As You Are" or some Nirvana thing. But he saw Kurt Cobain wearing like the big frame glasses, and he's like, "This rock star is wearing glasses on stage. I can wear glasses on stage because he wore glasses." And he's like, "I'm just gonna fucking be myself."
Yeah.
And so then he became the Rivers that we know and love today through that. So that was interesting to me. I didn't really know much about that. I guess I was reading a lot about the guy in the band who ended up not being in the band, Jason Topper.
Okay.
Now, this guy, I heard some...
I don't know anything about
Okay,
this.
now this...
Okay. Was he replaced by Brian Bell?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Brian Bell was a late swap. I remember that.
Now,
okay.
Jason Cropper. Yeah, so this is super... I listened to more interviews with this guy than Rivers. And it honestly made me uncomfortable because this guy fucked up. Really? I mean, he could have been in Weezer, but instead, like, there's a lot of different like rumors why he was asked to leave the band, but he was there from the beginning, like playing like the first show they ever played. They opened up. Actually, they closed for Dogstar, which is Keanu Reeves' band.
They're still playing too. They just played something.
Did they really?
Just the other day, I saw someone who was like, saw Dogstar on the bill. Figure that can't be Keanu. Keanu's on stage.
Dude, that guy is wild. I love Keanu. So I guess they said their first gig was opening for Dogstar. Oh no, sorry, closing. So they like had a huge crowd and they couldn't believe it. And then Dogstar played, and then everyone left, and it was just like an empty room, and Weezer left. Like I wish we would have gone on before them, but. That's here or there. So this guy was like there from the beginning to signing the record deal with Geffen Records, which was a miracle. Like they got, I mean, that's like a huge record label just to sign your first album to. I guess they had an offer from a couple other ones, and Rivers said no. This guy, Jason Cropper, was like, sign with somebody. And he said, if one will come, more will come. Yeah. And then he was right. And Geffen Records was the same label that had Nirvana. So Kurt Cobain thought that was good for them. So then they went to New York, and I guess who produced the album? It's the guy from the Cars, Rick Ocasek, produced the album.
Yeah.
So they basically signed. They said your producer is going to be Rick Ocasek, and then now is time to really write the good songs. Like we gave you this, but like we need better songs for the album if you're going to be on Geffen Records. So he was there for the entire thing. And then right before, like he recorded a lot of his, like the Blue Album, he recorded most of it on guitar. And then they cut him. And Rivers fired him from the band. He said, we're going to take a picture of, he told Rick Ocasek, we're going to take a picture of the entire band for the album cover, and this guy's not going to be in it. So if we're going to replace him, and now is the time to do it.
Holy shit.
So they told him, you're fired. And then Rivers went in and in one take re-recorded all of that guy's guitars. So that guy is not featured on the record.
I did not realize any of this. For some reason, I know a lot of lore about this band, but this is a blind spot for me. I did not know they did that.
But it was wild to learn all this. I guess he does have a credit in for My Name is Jonas because I guess he wrote or helped with Pat. What's his last name? The drummer. Wilson.
Oh, Pat Wilson. Yeah, Patrick Wilson.
He basically like helped write the intro part of My Name is Jonas, so they kept that in, but everything else is done by Rivers in one take to get this guy the fuck out of the band.
Wow.
Apparently, like he was kind of like, there's a lot of, the guy is convinced that he had a girlfriend who he then later married that no one liked and kept coming into the studio. And that's why they fired him. Everyone else said that was like a series of like small instances. Like this guy's got to fucking go.
Yeah. How funny.
The guy now, he kept talking about like his band, like, oh yeah, my band, Chopper One. It's like no one knows the fuck you're Chopper One. The fuck is this?
Yeah.
But he is like sucks Rivers' dick so much in every interview where it's like I heard this one thing because Rolling Stone interviewed him when they did like a retrospective of the Blue Album, and it was like, what do you think? It's probably the right move from Rivers to get rid of me. I was kind of a diva, but I would love to work with him again. It's like, oh man, that ship has so far sailed. Like you are never working with him again. But he's like, talking about like, yeah, Rivers is a genius and everything he does is right, and I was wrong. And it's like, oh man, you just really fucked this up. Like you could have made so much money. He talked about how I think he gets royalties from My Name is Jonas because he wrote that first part, but everything else is nothing.
Oh my God.
So I think that like, dude, he probably gets those like royalty checks and is like, sees what he gets for that one song. Is like, oh man, I fucked this up. I should have done better.
Oh man.
Anyways, so that is the story of one guy who was kicked out of Weezer at the very last second, which I thought was interesting. So, but yeah, I have loved this band. For a while, this is my favorite band. I think when it was just Weezer, the Blue Album, Pinkerton, and the Green Album, just those three, I was like, this is it for me. In high school,
yeah,
that was the shit. Since I think they probably released 18 more albums.
Yeah. I'll say on my end, Green Album, I really loved when it came out. Then I went back and listened to these, and I was like, damn, these are even better.
Yeah.
But I still liked the Green Album. To me, Weezer was not like, it wasn't like they had the deepest lyrics I've ever heard, but rather like the Blue Album, it's like the lyrics are kind of almost like lullaby a little bit. They're kind of like don't overthink it. I know at one point their slogan was, if it's too loud, turn it down. That sums it all up to me. It's like not overthought. I'm going surfing. I'm excited about it. That's it. I'm telling you about, basic human emotions, and sometimes they could get a little heavier than in other songs, but they didn't overcomplicate it. Pinkerton kind of got a little more complex, but then Green Album to me was like, man, return to just catchy, great pop songs. Not sure what they all mean.
Right.
The subjects of the songs kind of weren't as approachable as the Blue Album. So it was kind of like, I kind of wonder if some of these songs are just catchy for the sake of catchy. I wonder if they're really about anything. Then Maladroit came out.
Yeah.
That to me sounds like where I feel like Weezer wanted to go.
Yeah.
Where it gets a little more metal-y almost. But again, the songs are really catchy, but like, are these about anything? Dope knows. This dope knows. What's this about? Like, and then I remember reading interviews where it's like, oh, Rivers figured out how to a mathematical equation to create the perfect pop song. Well, you nailed it, but is it about anything?
Yeah.
Like You know what I mean?
Think it kind of seems to me like, I guess he was saying with this first album, he thought he was going to be the next Kurt Cobain in the sense of like, I'm so deep and I'm writing this stuff. Like, the Sweater song is like me burying my soul, even though it's like, and then later someone was like, you know, I like your lyrics because they're not serious. You're kind of funny. Yeah. And I guess that was a gut punch to him. He's like, no, I'm not funny. This is who I am. Like, this isn't funny.
Yeah.
And then he went extra far into Pinkerton.
Yeah.
And no one liked it.
And people went, whoa, no.
And so I think...
Which is funny how highly regarded it is.
I know.
Since then.
But I feel like, is it like, do they find... Have they accepted that it's become a thing, or are they still kind of like, fuck Pinkerton?
I think now they play shit from that all the time.
Now, here's the thing. So we picked this album. Weezer played in San Diego on Sunday.
Oh,
I was that close. I was like, I should take my girls to go. Yeah. They would love it. And like, I got it for Record Club. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But tickets were $150.
Nah, I'm good.
And I was like,
where was it at?
It was at Petco, but it was at like the Gallagher Square.
Oh.
So it's like behind, those of you who have been to San Diego, Petco Park where the Padres play, there is a stage against the outfield, and it faces like further and back.
Huh.
And I guess it was like a smaller venue, and so they made it so expensive because they played in Irvine the day before, and it was $50.
Yeah.
Which I would have paid.
That seems weird.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw 50 Cent last week, and he played here in San Diego, in Chula Vista.
Yeah.
And you could get a ticket, pretty good seat for $80 if you wanted.
Yeah.
You could go cheaper that were further up, or you could go, the ones further closer up were 150, maybe, went up to that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, LA, they were all like 150.
See, what is that?
Or more. And it's just like, damn. Well, glad I saw him in San Diego.
Yeah.
Some venues are just make it a misery.
Yeah, they really is. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's because it was on StubHub and it was sold out. It probably was that, honestly.
Yeah.
It's probably
I can't see that being default 150
no way.
at that place.
And I guess earlier on the tour, they were Modest Mouse open for them, and I would have loved to see Modest Mouse. Honestly, it kills me.
Oh, damn.
It kills me.
Yeah.
So what I never really listening to this album as many times as I have, there's things I never considered about it. They said that they wanted the guitar to be the loudest thing you've ever heard. So the guitar on this, they said the loudest guitar they'd ever heard was Radiohead's album, and they said we want louder. We want almost deafening. All you hear is guitar. And then I listened to it again. I was like, the drums are there, but they are definitely not as fucking loud as a guitar.
Yeah, I can picture that in my head right now.
Which is
yeah, and the drums are kind of definitely second fiddle.
You hear them, but they're like background.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was and also it's interesting since Patrick Wilson helped write some of the songs too, but I think was kind of on the same page of let's make it guitars loud or whatever. Yeah. Okay, let's go through the songs one by one. Now, starting with My Name is Jonas, which to me, I was thinking about this earlier today. I was talking to Jenny about this. I can't think of a more banger song to start a musical career. I'm thinking what song starts a band? And My Name is Jonas is definitely up there for one of the greatest ones. I mean, I don't even know what I always thought, okay, well maybe Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. That's a good song.
Yeah.
And definitely tells you who the band is with the thunder and all. That's cool. And we'll get to that later in this book. But this is this is who this band is right out the gate.
Yeah. I would, if depends on if you count their very first album because it was kind of an indie release, but you could argue Super Rad for the Aquabats.
Okay.
Was one they did technically have an album before that, but it was a self-made thing. It wasn't a label release.
Okay, so I'll say a label release.
Maybe that's up there.
And Super Rad is the first song on that album.
That is the first. The album starts with that.
That's pretty good.
I'm also just thinking in general, what are best first tracks on any album?
Yeah.
Just in general.
On any album.
That's a good one.
But yeah. I just feel like you start it and you instantly that guitar riff.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason Cropper, you may be uncomfortable listening to your interviews, but you did that right. One little contribution that stayed in the album is fucking great. I love that intro.
Yeah.
So for me, this is maybe I mean, it's hard for me to pick a favorite song on this album. I did say one time Rocco and I saw Weezer live. I forget where we were.
It was it was at SDSU.
Oh, that's right.
Arena, or whatever their arena is. It's changed names 50 times.
Right.
But it was with Foo Fighters. They alternated.
Oh, that's right.
They toured and alternated. Some nights Foo would open, and then some nights Weezer would open.
That was awesome.
And on ours, I think Weezer opened.
Weezer opened, yeah. That was
which I remember. I remember thinking, "Fuck yeah, this rules." Weezer plays, and I can take off. And then I remember
I wasn't going.
You weren't going. It was like, well, all right. And that was a great show.
Yeah, Foo Fighters
would have been stupid if I left.
You know what? Foo Fighters, some people don't love them. I like them, but I would say that they are so much fun to see.
But that was a great show.
It's a great live show.
And they played songs that I'm like, oh yeah, oh fuck yeah, okay, great. So I'm glad I stuck around.
They're a good time.
But that is going to be me. In October, we're seeing Postal Service and Death Cab, and they're both playing like their quintessential album.
Yeah.
And that
you're leaving? You're not staying for transatlanticism?
I'm not gonna leave I'm not gonna leave during transatlanticism. But I'm gonna bring my Switch.
Okay. Well, I'm not sitting next to you.
Obviously joking. I'm gonna bring my Steam Deck.
Totally.
And AirPods.
So
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, but anyway, that Weezer show was great. But you were gonna say about that.
I remember like we're just sitting there before it started. I'm like, I just really hope they play My Name is Jonas. That's the song I want more than anything else. Yeah. And then they started with it. And I was like, perfect.
They started the show with that. That was the best opener.
There's no better opener. And they even do it on their live shows.
Yeah.
Have we talked about how we almost hung out with them on tour? Did we mention that ever? On the podcast or anything?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm going to bring it up here. So we were just on tour. I don't think this is a secret story. It doesn't matter. We were in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Did our show in Pittsburgh, and then our tour manager, Jay, was like, hey, my friends are in town. They're in a band called Future Islands, and they just opened up for Weezer. They're also, they just performed in Pittsburgh, and they're at an after party. We should go hang out. They invited us to go hang out with them.
I didn't realize it was Future Islands. I have heard
me too.
Before.
Yeah, I've heard of Future Islands.
I didn't know that.
So if we want to hang out, they invited us to come hang out with them. So high school me was like, fuck yeah, hang out with Weezer. I would love to do that. That's like what are the odds of this like happening perfectly?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Totally. I'm down. And then like 5 minutes later, he was like, hey, I was looking at our schedule and we're going to drive like 3.5 hours tonight. Like we should probably get on the road. It's already like late. And if we're going to hang out and then we're not going to get to the hotel until like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we just got to say no thanks to the party and then go.
Yeah.
Which made total sense.
Yes.
But we were that close. We were so close. And I'm never going to get the opportunity again, I don't think, to hang out with Weezer. Not that like I'm dying to, but I will tell you, Lennon brings it up maybe once a day. She's like, you could have gone to see Weezer and you didn't do it.
Oh.
Like she it's like that haunts her. She's very upset by this. I'm okay, but I think high school me would have been like, go! Who cares to get to a hotel at 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, so My Name is Jonas for me is one of the best songs Weezer has ever done. I love it. Okay, so No One Else is a song that I think musically is awesome, very catchy, but I feel like the tone and the message here doesn't maybe fly in 2023.
Yeah, very controlling of a girl. Yeah,
like I want a girl who laughs for no one else.
Yeah.
When I'm away, she puts her makeup on the shelf. It's just very controlling.
Yeah, it's just you just wouldn't write it now.
No, but like
catchy song, but
it is a catchy song. But like if you see her out, tell her it's over because like you saw her.
Yeah,
like that is weird.
No.
But it's a very catchy song.
Yeah, but
the message is a little.
Yeah,
it doesn't really fly.
Yeah,
today.
Yeah.
Okay, so the world has turned and left me here. Again, another banger.
Yeah.
I feel like though I will say like later on we get to like the songs that are like the true classics. I think actually these tracks 2 and 3 are the ones that are like okay.
Yeah, they're setting it up, but they're not the hits.
They're not the hits. But then after that, I feel like is nonstop hits. Yeah. So maybe if there's my 2 least favorite songs on the album, it would be these 2.
Me too.
And not that I'm not saying they're bad.
No.
I'm just saying that like, and honestly on like Malandroit, maybe they're the best songs on the album. Yeah. But like on this album, they're not the best.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how I feel about it. Buddy Holly was not the first. I thought that was the first single released from this. It's not.
Wasn't Sweater Song?
It's a Sweater Song.
Yeah,
that was released first.
Yeah.
Buddy Holly, it was a song that Rivers intended to be on the second album. I guess it was. He wanted this to be more themed, and so this would be very guitar heavy, but then it's being very synth heavy on the second album, very 80s pop. And so on that deluxe album, there is a version of Buddy Holly, and there's a lot more synthesizer.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's interesting.
It's very Moog heavy.
All I remember from the deluxe edition of the Blue Album is the song demo for a song called Paper Face. That's all I remember. Do you remember that song?
I do remember Paper Face.
I never heard a paper face till I moved to the West Coast. I used to. That was when I was in college, and I would walk around we had breaks in between this long ass class.
Yeah.
And I had my first gen iPod.
Ooh.
That was a fucking brick.
Yeah.
And I would walk around and listen to Paper Face. I would go get a snack or whatever, and I always put that song on because I was addicted to it.
It's a good song.
That distinctly reminds me of going to college. Yeah.
Yeah. Community college.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Buddy Holly wasn't supposed to be on there. Rick Ocasek heard them play that song. And it's like, you have to put this on the fucking album. You have to. And then I guess at one point he pulled Rivers aside at the place where they were recording the songs, and he would point to the secretary who was humming Buddy Holly to herself. And it's like, you have a hit. Like, she is singing
it's right there.
She is singing it to herself because she's heard us play it, and it's caught in her head. Like, we have to put this on the album.
Yeah.
So then I feel like Rivers is very controlling, but also will listen to people and be like, all right, if you think it's for the best. And so then they ended up changing Buddy Holly a little bit and then putting it on this album. And they got rid of a lot of the synthesizer stuff that they had in the demo version, whatever. So fun fact about Buddy Holly. Also the music video rules. I think that's one of the
one of the all-time best music videos.
Has to be.
And Try the Fish.
I loved Happy Days as a kid.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things that was like on TV land, it was like the old shit. So the fact that they recreated Happy Days is like, whoa, who watches Happy Days but me?
It was also right place, right time, because it was right when Forrest Gump had come out.
Oh.
And Forrest Gump used all this never before seen digital technology to dude, I mean, at the time, now it looks corny, but at the time it was like, dude, Forrest Gump has a conversation with JFK.
Right, yeah.
Or he meets Lyndon B. Johnson, all this stuff. And it was a showcase for this is digital technology we've never seen before. Mm-hmm. Buddy Holly came out, and there were a million news stories about how now Buddy Holly is out. Another show, another thing where they digitally put these characters in an older show, and they were like, "We didn't use digital technology.
We just got the actor.
Yeah, we got the actors. We filmed lookalike backgrounds, and it was just creativity.
Yeah,
it was not CG, but it rode the same wave. I remember the band talking about that. They were like, we were featured on the news all the time.
That's so funny.
Because it was like, look, they did it too.
Well, you know what? They're talking about them, so I guess.
Yeah, it was
good promotion.
Good timing on doing that video.
So speaking of videos, the next song, Undone the Sweater Song, another fucking awesome song.
Yeah.
The music video for that, I guess the record label had a lot of people pitch them ideas for this.
Yeah.
And they went with Spike Jonze, who I fucking love Spike Jonze. Spike Jonze is one of my favorite directors out there.
Yeah, me too.
He also did the Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
But they went with him because he didn't pitch anything to do with a sweater.
Yeah.
And he was the one director to not do that.
I remember hearing they said every other treatment was a giant sweater. Like they're in a room and there's a big sweater in the middle and it's coming undone, or it's whatever. They said that was everyone.
Yeah, and it's like, man, listen to the lyrics, and it's not necessarily. It's not really about a fucking sweater. Like, it's about him, and all of his inner thoughts. And you pull those out, and eventually he's just exposed and he's naked. Yeah. But it's not like he's wearing a fucking sweater. So yeah, I think they did, and also that music video is fucking awesome.
I remember hearing. I think maybe I'm pulling this out of my ass, but I seem to remember they were disappointed in the video.
Interesting.
like they thought for the amount of money spent on it, it was like we thought it was going to be more than like just us in a blue room and then like some dogs run through, right? I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And then I think Rivers was like looking at like a dog shit in the middle of the room, and he's just like, "This is like how much did this cost?" And this is what I'm looking at, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I thought I could be thinking of something else that he did Buddy Holly like as a makeup, like
okay. Spike Jones did?
Oh, you didn't care for that? Well, okay, we'll go wild at this next one.
Oh.
And then that was like, they were like, okay, blew the doors off on that one.
I remember being a kid seeing the start of the Sweater Song, and those people are in the hallway having a conversation, and then the camera turns upside down, and one take goes in, and I was like, but how did I remember being a kid, like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
That fascinated me, which maybe it meant to be like I was supposed to be in filmmaking at some point, because I don't know how many of my friends had even had that thought, but I remember being like, but how did they do that?
Yeah.
And they're just upside down, which is obvious at the time, now, but I was, blew my mind. But yeah, so that's a great, again, all these like Buddy, My Name is Jonas, Buddy Holly, Undone Sweater Song, and now Surf Fox America. Like I love, Surf Fox America is one of my favorite, I think, just songs. Like I think that's a great song. Apparently, I guess maybe people think it's about the band Wax.
Oh.
And that was like a rival to Weezer, supposedly, or something. Yeah. But I don't, you know what? I didn't go that far into that research. Yeah. I don't know. Great song. But then let's go a little further and go Say It Ain't So.
Oh, yeah. One of their best songs ever.
Best songs ever. I think it's like their biggest song ever is Off Green album. What the fuck is it?
Island in the Sun.
Thank you. Island in the Sun.
That's their biggest
single ever.
That seems wrong.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I still do hear it, though. I'm at the airport, and it's playing.
Yeah. But all these songs are better than Island in the Sun.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I might be thinking of that. Maybe I got my stories mixed up because Island in the Sun had a music video about, it was like a Mexican wedding.
Right.
And that was one where they were like, damn, we got this big single and this video's boring.
Right.
Like they said something like that. And then Spike Jones was like, I'll do one for you.
And there was all the animals.
There was them with animals. Yeah. But then I think they weren't stoked with that either or something. It was like, never mind.
That's a huge hit.
Yeah. But I think something like that happened. I could be pulling all this out of my ass. That's just what I seem to be remembering.
That's kind of the theme of the show. Okay. It's like, I think I heard this right, but if you really want to know, you can do your own research.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I got it right.
Trying to think of other music videos I've seen that where it's like, oh, they did another one. It was like, yeah, because they hated it. I don't know. If you ever look up, I know I'm always bleeding this band in every music conversation, but if you ever read about Queens of the Stone Age, they hate like all their music videos. There's like a couple that they like, but every time they do one, it's like, why do we do these?
We'll make one. I'll make you one.
I know. I'll do one too. Whatever you want to do. Fucking do cool stunts or something.
The Raconteurs do that with Steady As She Goes.
Yes.
They didn't like that video.
They had a sketchy one that was kind of like 8mm film on a farm, and then it was like, yeah, they redid it and did like, it was like a destruction derby or a boxcar
racer.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Boxcar Racer did that. No, I'm just kidding. But no, Queens of the Stone Age, if you notice, there isn't their music videos nowadays, they just have like either Liam Lynch make one on his own or have an animator do it because they're just like, we're so over like filming music videos and stuff. Oh,
well, I meant to bring this up earlier and I forgot. So Rivers chose the name Weezer. Do you know why he chose that name?
Did he have asthma or something?
No. Well, maybe. Well, I think yes, but his dad called him Weezer.
Oh.
So in the first, I heard like the demo tapes for My Name is Jonas, and at the end of the song, instead of going, My name is Jonas, it's My name is Weezer, because that's what he's called to by his dad, who he did not have a good relationship with.
Yeah.
Fun fact. I say that because in Say It Ain't So, there was a whole part about, Dear Daddy, I write you in spite of years of silence or whatever. Because that is kind of like, that is like his story. Like he's talking to his dad. This is kind of funny, but on Father's Day, Sawyer she made me a Father's Day card. It was all drawn very sweet. But on the inside was this: Dear Daddy, I write you in spite of years of silence. You've cleaned up, found Jesus. Because she just knows I like Weezer so much. And
you're a huge drinker.
And well, that's the thing is like, this message is, I hope not about, I can't imagine it's about me, but I saw it was very sweet and like, oh man, she like knows this is a song that I like, and then like she sings with me, and so she like put a part. But it's like the only thing that relates to me, I hope, is the Dear Daddy part. Everything else is like this is nothing else like me. But I still have it. It's very cute. So yeah, Say It Ain't So. I mean, I think honestly, it being a rock band too made it so like.
Yeah, carried it to a whole new generation. By far. Although I will say, every time I talk to one of the guys at Harmonix, we back in the day when Rock Band was out, we really saw them at every trade show, talked to them all the time.
Yeah,
they're great guys. And then we would ask them like, okay, so what's the song you never need to hear again? Because you demo Rock Band at all these events. They were like, oh, Say It Ain't So. I never hear that song. I will never listen to for fun ever again.
Yeah, but
like great song, but everyone plays it.
I mean, like. I did.
Yeah.
For sure. When we first played Rock Band,
played it, it was like, you got to do Say It Ain't So.
Well, because everyone sees it go, oh, Say It Ain't So. Like, you get excited.
And everyone can succeed. The drums are doable.
The singing's not too hard.
But it's not too hard. But then you get to, the sun is drowning in the flood. I mean, that's good. But it doesn't do it the whole song.
No.
And then guitar is consistent. And then they get to go to,
yeah.
I mean, everyone gets their moment.
And honestly, when it has the big hits, boom, boom, wah, wah, boom, it's so, and the drums, it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs.
It's the perfect video game song. If you think about it.
It is. And like, I think truly that song being in Rock Band made Rock Band what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like that
is a big part.
Everyone saw Say It Ain't So performed at PAX or wherever the fuck else. And it's like, I'm getting this game.
Yeah.
It's a great song, and I think it made Rock Band what it is.
Yep.
Okay. I'll go on and say Say It Ain't So is the best Weezer song. I think it's the best one.
Ooh,
for me.
Wow. Best Weezer song. Probably.
I mean, I like so many, but I do think that's probably their best song.
Yeah.
It's one of their besides Buddy Holly and you just told me this fucking Green Album song. What was it?
Island in the Sun.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's better than any of those, definitely.
It's better than those. Anyways, okay. Next song, In the Garage. Great song. And I think it kind of tells you how, like, who Rivers is. Like, he's a fucking dork, you know? And according to that Jason Cropper guy, which, again, take with a grain of salt, he says that he and Rivers were in a D&D thing together. And so that's where that came from. But is he just lying? I don't know, but he said this.
I always thought this was the most underrated song.
I agree.
Because you never hear anyone bring it up.
No.
Oh, yeah, put on In the Garage. You never do, but I always liked it. It's the vibe of it is just like, I'm here in my safe place.
Yeah.
You know? I've got Ace Frehley. I've got Peter Criss. I've got, it's like, he's amongst all the stuff that brought him to where he is. It's his hangout. It's where he feels in his garage. He feels safe.
Yeah, and honestly, now that I have a garage and my garage is what I want it to be, where it's like full of like my shit, my records, my pool tape, whatever.
Yeah,
I totally get it. It's like, this is my garage.
I don't have a garage at my home personally, but my place has a big walk-in closet. And I was like, well, I don't have that many. I have a lot of T-shirts, so I guess it'll be good for that. Whatever. But that is where I put, the rest of my place. I have a lot of framed artwork. I try to keep it classy. But in there is all the posters of all the video game shit and stuff from posters from high school. I don't want to play it. It's like, okay, here's a Power Rangers movie poster. Here's whatever. Bayonetta poster, just stupid shit. And when I go in there, it is a different feeling than the rest of my body. It's like, I feel like, these are all my interests thrown up here. And I get the same vibe listening to this song. It's your safe place.
For me, like, I think back to like, we filmed a lot in my dad's garage, but that's what it was to him. And I know that when my kids hear this song, they think of me in my garage. Like, I know they do. And I like that. Like, Like, they'll always think of like, my dad's garage full of the records and the Mario scene signed by Miyamoto. Well, they'll think about all of it, So like, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Another great song that I think is underrated is Holiday.
Yes. Oh yeah. Great. Iconic, if only for the breakdown is amongst one of the best parts of the album. We will write.
Do.
To our friend.
Yeah. So
that's like, you don't have anything else like that on this album. And then it leads to, and then the song just explodes. Heartbeat. That's when it reaches its apex there. I wonder if there's a better moment on the entire album.
A great
as much
question.
as much as I love Say It Ain't So, whatever. That is like a 10 out of 10 moment in the whole album.
What a build-up.
Yeah, and leading back into "Let's Go Away for a While."
And it's even louder. Yeah,
you and I. Yeah,
I always thought it fell with the strange in Disneyland when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I realize now it's Distant Land.
Yeah.
I will say, going back to a song, because I do need to come clean. With the Sweater song, it starts with a guy talking.
Yeah.
I swear to you, most of my life, I thought he was talking to a guy named Bob. Like, what's up, Bob? Wait, take it easy, Bob. Not bruh.
Oh.
Take it easy, bruh. Like, I thought he was saying Bob, and I was like, who's Bob?
Yeah.
Who's Bob?
Who is Bob?
Who the fuck is Bob?
It's got Bob Iger on deck.
I
Worked at Geffen Records at the
and
time.
it was not until like I would say 2 years ago, and I was looking at the liner notes, like, oh my god, it's bro, or bruh.
Yeah.
Oh my, I'm an idiot.
That's funny.
Who the fuck is Bob? But yeah, I agree with you, Holiday. The buildup is beautiful. Great. And then we're gonna end it with the 8-minute long song, Only in Dreams, which is kind of a ballsy way to end your first album. Like an 8-minute song, but mostly just the bass. Boom, 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 boom.
It sucks. In my opinion, they never had a closing track better than this. Even Pinkerton has kind of a weird little sad thing, but it doesn't touch this. Again, the lyrics are like a lullaby. They're not like the deepest lyrics, but they're simple in that way that a young man's mind is simple. She is your marrow and your ride home.
Mm-hmm.
Like perfect gamut right there.
Is
expressed, and always thought it was good. What was painful is that it was back in the day, discovering Weezer, every now and then Rivers would pop in on like their forum.
Oh,
rarely. And if it was like a unicorn. It was like, oh, Rivers just posted.
Yeah.
And he was extremely vocal. He hated the song.
Oh, no.
8-minute bore fest. He said, I'm sorry I bored everyone for 8 minutes. It's the worst song. And now, this is the early 2000s, so I'm going to quote something he said.
Okay, get ready. Buckle
but he
up.
worded it a certain way
Buckle up.
that I think about all the time. I'm letting everyone know. This is a quote from Rivers in the early 2000s. He said the song was gay, Disney gay.
Oh.
That is actually... At one point, now that was deleted off the forum. I don't think you can find that anymore.
So no
but he
one
said
knows
the song.
the
He said it
Rocco.
was an 8-minute boring track. I just can't believe anyone sits and listens to that 8-minute. I think he said 8-minute piece of shit.
Wow.
And then I believe he followed that up with gay, Disney gay. That's how it sounds to him.
Whoa. Well, I'm sure 2023 Rivers would find a different way to say he didn't like that song.
Yes.
But that's interesting because
I remember reading that on a forum. Again, it could have been someone posing as him. So allegedly, but allegedly.
It said his name next to it, but who knows? I think that it is. It builds so much. The entire song just builds, but the bass is always constant. I just love it. I think it's a great song.
Yeah, I do too. I agree. To hear that was just like, you're kidding. How could you not like this?
There were a couple other songs. So that's like the actual track list. But there were other songs like Suzanne, which is in Mallrats, which we just covered in our movie club.
That was a separate single.
Yeah.
But to me, I consider that like that might as well be on.
It's the same tone.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be on here.
Yeah, it was done at the same time, same sessions, whatever. I always felt like it
and
should
then
be.
Last is what was it? Michael and Carly, which is a good song about, I guess they had two sisters who went to all of their shows and was the president of the Weezer fan club and helped like organize so much stuff for them.
They were Weezer mega fans from the beginning.
When they got like their like Weezer fan club cards, they were 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They were like tight.
Yeah.
And I guess in 97, they got in a car wreck with their other sister leaving a Weezer show and they all died.
Yeah.
And so apparently that like destroyed, they went on a hiatus after that. The band was like devastated by this. And they wrote that song. I don't know if they wrote that song before they died or
I think it was after.
After they died?
There's a show. It's on the Weezer DVD. They put out a DVD of like I forgot what it was called, but they put it back. This came out like 20 years ago, but that has a performance. They did a show. I think it was a benefit show called "Hear You Me" or something like that. Benefiting Michael and Carly's family or whatever. And Rivers comes out on stage crying.
Oh no.
And yeah, he's actually like crying. And I think it was the first time they played that song. We wrote a song for them and they played that.
That's brutal.
But that performance is on there. So that was rough.
Tough stuff. Okay, so that is. Let's see really quick what Rolling Stone had to say. Oh,
but I'm still wondering. Yeah, they might have written it for them, but they didn't come out
and play it
until that happened.
Maybe
you might be right. On that, I'm not sure. Hold
on. When it came out, Weezer's debut was regarded as a quirky power pop album with a couple of hit singles. The songs were so catchy that some indie rockers wondered if they were put together by a record company, Monkey style. But Rivers Cuomo's band became a major influence on the whole generation of young, sad sack punkers and emo kids. Is that us? Are we sad sack punkers and emo kids?
I didn't know.
People see us now as this credible band, and they assume we are always credible, says Cuomo. But man, we could not have been more hated when we came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a landmark album for me. I have like on my wall in my bedroom, I have like 5 vinyls that are hanging as like albums that shaped who I was.
Yeah.
And this is on the wall. Like this is an album that changed music for me. So there's no doubt in my mind this is a 5 out of 5. Like easy 5 out of 5. You know? Yeah. That's me.
Yeah. I think for me, I don't know if I would say Weezer became an obsession for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they hit me in a way where it like changed music for me. This isn't a diss or anything, but you know, there's certain media that changes your brain.
Yeah.
I don't think this hit me early enough to be that for me. Mm-hmm. I wasn't seeking out more music that sounded like this or anything, but I just loved them. Yeah. Then I fell out. They released more albums as time went on and I lost interest.
Yeah.
But their first couple albums are undeniable.
And I feel like every now and then they squeak through with a song. I was like, oh, that's a good song.
Every now and then they'll still hit with something.
And they release so many songs that eventually one's going to hit.
Yeah, Broken Clock is right twice a day.
Some are good.
For me, the Blue Album, regardless, is a 5. Not even a question to me. That's. I would still say, you know, I'm out of my Weezer phase. Yeah. I ain't thinking about them anymore. That's probably still in my top 10 favorite albums.
Yeah. I think it's totally fair.
It's in there somewhere.
Yep, I agree. So that's Weezer, the Blue Album. Let's talk quickly about the Velvet Underground's song, Sweet Jane. You know what? Velvet Underground is a band I've seen the album cover 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I don't ever listened to the Velvet Underground. I was listening to the song for the first time, and I went to Jim, like, that sounds like Lou Reed to me.
Yeah.
Not knowing it really was Lou Reed. I had no idea that he was part of this band.
I didn't know shit about Lou Reed almost until just about when he died.
Really?
He was featured on a Gorillaz song, and I'm like, who the hell is this? And then he passed away, and I was like, oh, the Gorillaz guy died. No, I think he did more than that. Oh.
I didn't know that Velvet Underground, for a short time, were managed by Andy Warhol. Like, I know he did the album cover.
Yeah.
But, like, he fucking managed them, too? Like, how close were you with Andy Warhol? Interesting. Their first... Okay, I thought that was funny. Their first paid job was at a high school. The band's manager and music journalist, Al, whatever, I can't remember his last name, arranged the band's first paid gig at Summit High School in New Jersey. The band was promised to be paid $75, which is roughly about $580 today. When they decided to take the gig, the drummer, Angus, quit on the spot, claiming the group was selling out.
Oh.
Angus. What for your principles, I suppose, but what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, so it's from the third album. The song is an ode to Jane, a former girlfriend of Lou Reed, who was a junkie. Reed said that the song was an attempt to describe the life of a junkie from the perspective of someone who loves her. The song was recorded in 2 sessions, one in May 1970 and the other October of the same year. The version of the album was released, they released a second recording they did, and that was the one in October. So I had no idea. I mean, I've heard the song maybe once or twice before. I wasn't super familiar with it. Velvet Underground is, again, I've seen the album cover a lot, haven't listened to it. But I like Lou Reed, and listening to this, I was like, I like this, but it's like not like my favorite. I wouldn't like seek this out, I don't think.
I don't know what it is, but I don't like any of their music.
You okay?
I don't know much. I didn't like the song.
I don't know enough to tell you. I just know, like, all right,
I don't know why it never was my thing.
Well, Lou Reed kind of has that like talking, singing, you know, and that's kind of his style. So, but
there's a cool music video I think where he's made of clay or something, and they're ripping his face apart.
Okay. Well, that's Sterling Morrison said the song was one of the most difficult to play live as it required perfect precision and coordination between the musicians. So I guess it was a tough song. I don't know. It's would I put on this list? No, but people love Velvet Underground. I'm not familiar enough. So maybe when I'm positive their album is in here eventually, so I'll get to it one day, but not today. Unless, Rocco, you want to do the honors and pick it.
Yeah.
If you pick Velvet Underground, that would be very ironic. So go ahead and pick it. Okay. Pick a good one.
I'm seeing, he has the book open to Weezer, but I'm seeing like 3 other albums I would have liked to have talked about. I'm right there. I'm seeing Random Access Memories.
Yeah.
Where was that? I want to be on that one.
Okay, I'll invite you. It's fine. You can be on it.
I could have said way more, but you couldn't shut me the fuck up on that one. Okay. Is this how you do it? Just pull one out?
Yeah.
144.
144.
Let's see if I'm going to be on another episode.
Let's see. It is Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin.
Ooh, nope.
You're not going to be on that one. But I like,
nothing against Zeppelin, but I don't know. I get their albums mixed up. I'm not a Zepp head. So I get them mixed up.
Not a Zepper. Yeah. Well, I will tell you the songs on it later. But the song we're listening to is Jumpin' Jack Flash by Rolling Stones.
Okay. I know that one.
That song. Do you know that song?
Oh, yeah, I know that one. Jumpin' Jack Flash, she's a gas.
No, know that one. You know what? It's funny, Rocco. The record before this, 143, is Velvet Underground.
See, I bring that negative energy.
You were so close to picking the Velvet Underground.
No, thank you.
How about that? Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Rocco, thank you for being on, talking Weezer with me. Everyone, check out Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin and Jumpin' Jack Flash by Rolling Stones, and we'll see you next week. Rocco won't be there. Rocco's not going to be there.
Never again.
Yeah, sorry. Fuck.